Obi, tell the elders I have never done anything to wrong the village.
And the kingdom of Odu-Ala, the earth was red like memory, it stained the feet of farmers, the hems of women's wrappers, and the knees of children who played in its dust. The elders said the soil was red because it never forgot what was poured into it. Sweat from labor, tears from grief, blood from war, and long before Prince Kambili was born, the soil had swallowed a betrayal. In those days, before crowns and curses tangled together, there were two boys who grew into men side by side. Obidike and Ekanem were not brothers by blood, but they might as well have been. They shared food when one had none. They fought shoulder to shoulder in their first battle, trembling but determined not to shame their training. When one was wounded, the other carried him. When one doubted himself, the other spoke courage into his bones. Ekanem was easy to love. He laughed loudly, greeted elders with deep respect, and remembered the names of children in the market. People trusted him because he made them feel seen. Obi was sharper. He watched before he spoke. He noticed how power moved like water, always seeking the lowest weakness. He studied the elders' faces during council meetings. If Ekanem was fire, Obi was iron. When the old king died without an heir, fear spread like a cold wind through Odu-Ala. A kingdom without a ruler was like a canoe without a paddle. The council of elders gathered beneath the great Iroko tree in the palace courtyard to choose a new king. Everyone knew the decision would be between the two friends. The people favored Ekanem. The elders leaned toward Obi. The kingdom waited. On the night before the council's final meeting, Obi went to Ekanem's hut. The moon hung low and full, bright enough to cast shadows. They drank palm wine and spoke of childhood. Ekanem laughed about the time Obi had fallen into a stream during training and blamed a slippery rock. Obi smiled, but his thoughts were elsewhere. After a long silence, Ekanem placed his hand on Obi's shoulder. "My brother," he said softly, "whoever they choose tomorrow, nothing changes between us. We will lead together. The kingdom needs both our strengths." Together, the word wrapped around Obi's heart like rope. He nodded, but when he walked home that night, he felt something heavy pressing against his ribs. Together meant sharing, together meant never standing alone in the sunlight, together meant forever being measured beside a man the people adored quietly. A hunter claimed he had seen Ekanem by the sacred river at midnight, performing forbidden rites. Soon after, strange objects were found buried behind Ekanem's hut. Bones, mud, markings associated with dark spirits. Fear spreads faster than truth, the council convened. Witnesses testified. The evidence seemed undeniable. Ekanem stood before them, anger and confusion fighting in his eyes. "I have never betrayed this land," he said. "I swear by my father's grave." He turned to Obi. "Tell them," he said quietly. "You know me." For a moment, time slowed. Obi could have spoken. Instead, he lowered his eyes. The silence was answer enough. The council sentenced Ekanem to exile in the forbidden forest. As soldiers dragged him away, Ekanem did not struggle. He only looked at Obi with something worse than anger, disbelief. Obi wept loudly. He shouted that the punishment was harsh, but when he embraced Ekanem at the gate, his whisper was barely breath. "Forgive me." Ekanem's body stiffened. He understood. From the edge of the crowd, Ekanem's mother watched everything. She was old, her back bent like a branch heavy with years, but her eyes were clear. She did not scream. She did not beg, she simply memorized the king to be's face. That night, she walked into the forest carrying a carved calabash, a white cock, and soil scraped from the palace courtyard. Her hands trembled only once, when she remembered her son as a child, running barefoot across the same red earth. Then her voice hardened. She slit the cock's throat and let its blood fill the calabash. She mixed it with the soil and strands of hair stolen from Obi. "Let the throne he steals drink from his own house," she whispered. "Let his pride become his punishment. Let betrayal return to blood." The curse did not shout, it waited. Obi was crowned king within weeks. He ruled well. That was the bitter truth. He strengthened the army. He expanded trade. He made wise decisions. The kingdom prospered. People praised him. Years passed. Ekanem became a fading memory. His mother grew thinner, but she did not die. For years, the wife of Queen Ijeoma struggled to conceive. King Obi felt fear for the first time in years. What was the use of a throne without a son? He offered sacrifices. She prayed. When Ijeoma finally became pregnant, joy flooded the kingdom. On the night of labor, thunder cracked across the sky. Lightning struck the sacred Iroko tree, splitting its bark. The child was born in stormlight. He did not cry, he stared. The priestess felt a chill when she touched his forehead. "There is something odd in this child," she murmured, but the king, overwhelmed with relief, laughed and called him strong. They named him Kambili. Kambili grew surrounded by love, but shadows clung to him. At 7, Kambili woke from dreams of a man walking alone in darkness, calling out a name no one answered. At 10, he refused to join river rituals. "The waterfields blamed," he said. "The priestess threw cowries in secret. They fell in patterns of inheritance, of blood returning to blood." She warned the king gently. He refused to hear. One day Kambili wandered into the forbidden forest, drawn by something he could not explain. Under the lightning-scarred Iroko, he found the calabash half buried in red soil. When he touched it, truth flooded him. He saw the planted evidence. He saw soldiers dragging Ekanem away. He saw his father's silent choice. He saw the old woman's curse. He fell to the ground screaming. This vision he couldn't understood why it happened. At that same moment, King Obi coughed blood onto the palace floor. From that day forward, peace left him. He saw Ekanem in reflections. He heard whispers in empty rooms. Kambili returned back to the palace furiously and told his father what he saw. And the father began to understand why he recently started seeing Ekanem in his dream, but Kambili requested explanation why his father did such a thing, but he couldn't utter a word. Instead, he ignored Kambili and summoned Ekanem's mother to the palace. When Ekanem's mother was brought before the court, after asking her several questions, she said nothing. Instead, she looked at Kambili with sad understanding. "The death lives in you," she said. Then she died at the king's feet. Kambili's heart broke in ways he could not explain. He confronted his father in private. "I know," he said. Obi denied it. Then anger fled. Then tears came, real ones this time. "I was afraid," he confessed. "Afraid of losing. Afraid of being second." Kambili felt his chest split between love and betrayal. The curse stirred within him, offering a simple end: kill him. But Kambili loved his father. Instead, during the next full moon gathering, he stood before the kingdom and told the truth. Gasps filled the air. Obi removed his crown and placed it at his son's feet. Kambili became king, but his victory felt hollow. His mother would not look at him. "You broke your father," she whispered. Soon after, Kambili fell ill. Fever burned through him. No healer could explain it. The priestess understood. "The curse was tied to the throne," she said. "As long as this blood holds it, balance is not complete." To break it fully, Kambili had to give up power. It felt cruel. He had chosen truth over revenge. Now he must choose sacrifice over authority. On a quiet morning, under a pale sky, Kambili removed the royal beads and laid them before the elders. Gasps echoed again. He walked barefoot from the palace. The moment his feet touched common soil, his fever vanished. The Iroko tree sprouted green leaves. The curse was broken. Kambili never ruled again. He lived simply, teaching children the full history of Odu-Ala, both its glory and its shame. Sometimes he dreamed of a man walking out of a forest, finally at peace. When asked why he gave up the throne, he would say softly, "Because truth must cost something. If it costs nothing, it changes nothing." And the red earth of Odu-Ala held the story close, remembering as it always did.